afternoon. Well, we've just seen a pretty flat performance being put on by the JSE so far. Give us a broad overview of activity where one would assume volumes are pretty low ahead of the Easter long weekend.
That's correct, Alishia. Volumes are very low. We are being held up by commodities. We're seeing some profit taking. We're seeing a bit of activity in MTN. Obviously, some investors looking at the Zain Barty deal. MTN's come off a little bit low. It's looking like it's potentially moving into buy territory. But Alishia, yes, really looking for direction. A lot of investors are probably going to be leaving for the long weekend. We're going to see. The market direction is really looking forward towards the jobs data out in the States tomorrow, and we're going to not be in the office, so cautious ahead of that. So very low volumes for all those reasons.
Amidst that, we've seen some interesting company news hit the markets today. Metropolitan's Momentum merger, FirstRand selling its interest in Momentum to Metropolitan. How exactly is the market reacting to that news in particular?
The market seems to like it. I think it's very positive for Metropolitan. I think it takes it into a different space, but market really seems to like that. FNB looked more positive on the day. We saw some of the banks coming off on profit taking, so very market really liking that structure if it does go through.
Well, do you see this, with that being the big question, will this go through? I mean, do you see this clearing regulatory scrutiny and winning easy approval? Because this does mean that we've got two of South Africa's big players coming together here, and it's across the board in life, in asset management, and in the health business as well.
Alishia, if you look at the breakdown of the two companies, if you add up their market shares, your health and your corporate space, there is unlikely that there will be competition issues. They still will be smaller than the likes of your Sanlam and your Old Mutual. I think it'll be a good mix for the two, but we don't foresee any issues from the regulatory side on the actual merger.
You talk about a good mix here. I mean, what synergies do you see being extrapolated here? Because we know that Momentum has traditionally catered to the high-end market, where Metropolitan has targeted the lower end. So let's explore some of the synergies that could be enjoyed.
Alishia, we'll look firstly at the admin side. We'll see the merger of there'll obviously be admin benefits in terms of cost saving. In terms of actuarials, they're going to merge that base of, and then if we look at Metropolitan, they've got a very good health base, which they're very strong in, whereas Momentum really isn't. Momentum's very, very strong in the corporate side, and Metropolitan isn't. So it's really going to bring that mix together that's going to be making a new super kind of insurance company that will be really good for Metropolitan. And even if you look at Metropolitan, investors really, Metropolitan really needed to do something in terms of its growth for the next 2 to 3 years. Where would Metropolitan really be going? Why would an investor look at Metropolitan unless it merged with a different insurer? So I think very positive for Metropolitan.
Well,
going
certainly
forward.
Good news for Momentum as well, because in Africa there is certainly a case for combining the two. We've got Metropolitan with that stronger foothold on the continent. On the face of it, I mean, how much muscle does this afford the company now to grow even further on the African space?
I think, Alishia, they have got positions. Both insurance companies have got positions in Africa, but I think what they're both lacking is that they don't have a local partner. So maybe what they're going to do with the combined resource and their combined footprint that they're going to have into Africa, it's going to be able to get them to look at good local partners. And until they really have good local partners in Africa, they won't really be able to make a very. It won't really help them a lot, but it'll definitely back them going forward. That combined will help them, but it's difficult to see or gauge how much it would really going forward.
Well, let's take a look at Capitec. It also made news this morning out with results and a good set of numbers coming to the fore there. HEPS coming in at the upper end of its guidance. Your overall impressions of those numbers?
Alishia, I think excellent numbers. They continue to surprise. We were quite optimistic with our numbers. They came at the top of their guidance in terms of HEPS. They're just doing things really well. I think what was really surprising was their increase in transactions, which is really positive for them. That means they really are gaining market share. We really like the stock, and really performing well, surprising to the market, but always on the upside. So we're expecting bigger and better things from them.